You're listening to Northwoods Church Matters, a podcast of Northwoods Church in Evansville, Indiana, where we discuss why the local church matters and things that matter to the local church. I'm your host, Matt Higgins. Hey, welcome back to the Northwoods Church Matters podcast, and I'm here with our pastor, Bobby Pell, and we're talking about our missions focus for 2021 and how that's changing in light of the COVID epidemic. We said we weren't going to talk about COVID, but everything's related to COVID. Everything's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or 6 degrees of COVID at this point in time. So let's talk about what we were doing pre-COVID in terms of missions. What happened to Ecuador missions? Are we doing that anymore? Has Javi offended us, or do we like those people anymore? What's going on with Ecuador?
Javi is my amigo.
Amigo. Bueno.
So the plan is that we're not neglecting Ecuador. We're just in a situation that it is COVID related. We're not going back to Ecuador until we feel like it's safe. We had to make plans for 2021. The time frame for us making plans, and still today, Ecuador is just not safe as it relates to COVID. And so our desire would be that in 2022, we would be able to go back to Ecuador. I think our people have developed a heart for the people there, but we are in a situation that we need to see what happens. Missions needs to continue no matter what. So we got into this situation of, what are we going to do? That's why Ecuador, at least for a year, the door is closing.
I guess that means Javi and Evelyn, we still like you.
100%.
We still love La Montaña. Pastor Freddie, we still love you. We're going to come see you very soon.
That's right.
Hold on. We're coming sometime soon. So here's another big question. So we've announced that one of our big focuses for 2021 is going to be Wyoming. Why Wyoming?
It's a very good question. I think the story there is we didn't start Wyoming. We looked in Michigan, had probably 2 or 3 conversations in Michigan. We had conversations, some church planners in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that were positive. Then we had some conversations in Rapid City, South Dakota. And we were pretty close to participating with a church that was just north of Rapid City, South Dakota. I don't mind saying one of the things that I was looking for personally was I was looking for a place that families would want to go to on vacation almost, go and do missions. Because my thought was, I'm looking for a way people will say yes easy. Rapid City, South Dakota was one of those places that you could have gone to see Mount Rushmore, the Badlands, and you could have also done a mission trip. And there were just a lot of positives to that. The problem there became that we did not see that we could do multiple mission trips to help that single church plant. And we needed multiple mission trips throughout the year. Then a situation happened that my son is in Cody, Wyoming, and he contacted me to say that he had a guy come to their services, Cody, who worked with multiple church plants. He knew that what we were looking for, so I contacted that guy, who put me in contact with Chris Sims. Chris helps multiple church planters all across Wyoming, even up into Montana. And he has a network of church planters through what was at that time called the Forever West Church Planting Network. That has just been very helpful because what we were able to do is go out there and meet multiple planters and determine who is best for us to work with.
Yeah, so we just had a vision trip a couple weeks ago where we went out to Wyoming before all of us fell ill to COVID. But it was a wonderful experience, got to meet a lot of church planters, and I'm looking forward to going back. So what's going on with church planting in Wyoming?
I was impressed with just the heart of many of these guys. We met Chris, who's planting in Shoshone, which is a small town. We met Pat Alphen in Cody, Wyoming. We met Aaron Leggett in Evanston. We met Ben Horton in Sheridan, Wyoming. Forgot there's another guy as well. I forgot his name right now, who is also a planter that he came down to Evanston we met with. And, in the end of these planters that we met with, we're in a situation that almost all of them we're going to partner with in one way or another. Some, it's purely financial. For others, we're able to bring a mission team to be a help to them. I appreciated the gospel emphasis that all of these have. They're in a situation that they don't have tons of outside resources. Wyoming is not a place that people think of as, well, let's go there and help. They don't have lots of people like Northwoods who are coming knocking on their door saying, can we partner? And so because of that, whenever we did come, we were a little bit of a unicorn to some of these church planners.
And I think what's interesting about church planning in Wyoming, typically what you hear battered around amongst pastors is that it takes about a year of somebody being in your church for that person to say, that's my pastor. It takes a long time to build that relationship. But what Chris was telling us is that it takes 4 or 5 years for a pastor to get established in Wyoming, which is just a hard amount of time. These pastors are coming in doing church planning, knowing they need to be there for the long haul if they're going to make an impact. And, part of that is just the people in Wyoming have seen people come in almost like vacation pastors. They're going to come and take a vacation for a few years and then come out and leave. They're looking for people that are there for the long haul, and we're working with people they're there for the long haul, and I'm appreciative of that.
Well, imagine how hard that would be here for people if they were here for 2 or 3 years and we're still not their pastor.
Yeah.
That's a difficult situation.
Yeah. To have to keep building trust that way. So could you tell me about the work that Chris Sims is doing in Shoshone?
Yeah, so Shoshone is a small town, about 2,000 people. It's interesting. There are a couple of evangelical churches. The last time both churches met on the same day, I believe he said that there were 35 people in both churches combined, which means, if you sit back and think about it, there would be 1,965 people either not in church or in a non-evangelical church. That should grab our minds for a moment.
And the most beautiful church in town
is the
Mormon church, which is not a church.
Correct. Yeah, which, by the way, that's true in almost every community.
Yeah.
The Mormon church is set up right outside the school, which is an awesome place in Shoshone, but in every community in Wyoming, the Mormon church sets itself up, which is wise on its behalf. They set itself up right outside the local school because they want to be an established place in that community. And so Chris is looking to ultimately plant in 3 communities. All 3 of these communities are right outside of an Indian reservation. That's the strategy that he has, specifically trying to set up outside of the Indian reservation, which has no evangelical influence. And so now the Indians come off of the Indian reservation. I believe the Indian reservation is called Wind River. They come off the Indian reservation and they can attend these churches. And his desire is ultimately to have an impact on this really unreached people group that is there on the Indian reservation. And I think that's really important for us to remember as we're going there.
So could you tell me about the work of Pat Alphin and Cody?
Pat's a cowboy, for real. Pat's a cowboy, and I think it's really important for us to remember that. He was on the rodeo circuit. When you sit down and talk to Pat, there are certain things that are going to happen. You're going to talk rodeo.
And he has encyclopedic knowledge of everything rodeo related. He's throwing out people, like we all know Joe Montana, but he's throwing out names of people that are rodeo stars. And
yeah, Peyton Manning we get. And whatever Peyton Manning is to rodeo, I promise you, he knows. And he is a perfect fit for Cody, Wyoming. Cody has every summer, June, July, and August, they have 90 days, consecutive days of the longest running rodeo in the United States of America. And so people come to Cody for the purpose of that rodeo. Their church has a bunkhouse that they utilize for ministry. Cowboys come and stay in that bunkhouse who are at the rodeo June, July, and August, and they're improving what they do every day, 90 consecutive days. So they'll do the rodeo at night, and then the following morning, around 9 o'clock in the morning, they have coaches utilize video, go over with them what they did right or wrong the night previously as they ride a bronc or a bull. And so, I mean, the church has really done a wonderful job of ministering to those cowboys and utilizing the rodeo as good a job as you could ever imagine. Our church is going to be sending mission trips to the Cody Church, Cody Cowboy Church. We'll end up sending 2. One of those will probably be in June. One of those will probably be in July. Those dates will be announced as soon as possible. The July trip you'll be in charge of. That's really a youth mission trip that's going to be doing backyard Bible clubs, vacation Bible school type stuff. The June trip, or the earlier trip, will be an advanced trip where we will be going to do basically telling the community about the backyard Bible clubs and vacation Bible schools that's coming. Because once again, June, July, and August, this little church runs about, 50 people or so. Their whole emphasis is that rodeo. And so we will be doing this on their behalf.
Yeah. So they know that they need to branch out past the rodeo. And so they're seeking help with that. And the youth trip will be primarily mission trip, but some camp as well. And so we're looking to bring maybe a speaker with us and to have kind of a camp experience. I mean, one of my hopes and dreams is kind of out there is, Cody is very near Yellowstone, within a half an hour, and maybe have a Bible study time in Yellowstone or something like that would be awesome. That would be great. That would be fantastic. Yeah. So what are some of the other good things that God's doing through church planning in Wyoming? So other people? Yeah.
So we met Aaron Leggett, Evanston, which is maybe an hour from Salt Lake City. Aaron is doing a wonderful job just beginning to launch a church called Bear River Church. He's meeting in a community center. We were very impressed with Aaron. He has a great heart for discipleship and evangelism. Just a really, really great guy. He has asked us to come and help him do. Evanston has Cowboy Days during Labor Day weekend. He has asked us to come basically help their church look bigger than they are, to present themselves well to the community during Cowboy Days, which is a big deal for the city of Evanston on Labor Day weekend of next year. And so we're going to go in and be good representatives of Bear River Church to the city of Evanston on that weekend. I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be a great trip. Darren, I think, is going to lead that trip. Darren's actually going to take that trip and then also combine that with going over to Shoshone where Chris Sims was, and they're doing a beast feast, which sounds awesome. And that is where they take all kinds of different foods, game foods, where there will probably be elk, deer, antelope, bear. There could be mountain goat, sheep, all of these different animals cooked, and hunters come, enjoy the food. And then there's going to be a hunter who many people in our church know. Rick Hillard is going to be going. Rick will do a great job. I think he's pastoring down in Kentucky. We just got off the phone this morning with Rick, and Rick's agreed to go. Rick's going to be leading the conversation that night of telling some hunting stories and then sharing the gospel. And so Rick will do a wonderful job of that. And so Rick's going to be a part of that trip, and really looking forward to that. So Aaron in Evanston, and then the Beast Feast, and they'll probably take a day going into the Tetons in Yellowstone as well.
I think the problem with taking Rick is he's just going to want to get out of the car and shoot everything. I mean, there's so much wildlife that's everywhere. I mean, literally,
there's
right. Places between Evanston and Shoshone where you could just get out of the car and just take your pick.
Yeah, we saw over 1,000 antelope, and that's easy between Evanston and Shoshone.
Insane the number of antelope that were out there.
Yeah.
How is Northwoods going to partner with Wyoming church planning over the next year?
Yeah, so, one of the things that we really found as a need is these folks are lonely. I just know as a church planner in Indiana, I was lonely. But these folks, I would say, even more so. And I think this is something that our church can do. I mean, imagine there's 12, 13 families. We can provide for you their address. An old-fashioned letter to these folks will get you their email address. Sending an email and sending a letter on occasion, I think would be a blessing to them. On occasion, if we will know that you have adopted a family. You'll tell us, we'll connect you to whatever family. And then on occasion, we're going to hand you a gift card to send to them. We want to bless these families. We want to be an encouragement to them, but the encouragement comes from people. So we need people to basically say, yeah, I'll adopt that family. I'll adopt Chris Sims. I'll adopt Aaron Leggett. I'll adopt Pat Alphen. I'll adopt. And what you're adopting is you're saying, I'm going to be the source of encouragement for them. I'll write letters. I'll be willing to take the church's gift card, which came from your missions offering, and I'll put that in the letter and send it to them.
Which is something that everybody can do. I have some seniors in the church that are constantly asking me, I can't go on a mission trip. What can I do?
Yes.
You can certainly...
You can do this
yes. For sure. And you can do that well. There are some people that are in our church that can really do this well.
Yeah. And the back of the Connect card this coming Sunday will say, I want to partner with Wyoming church planters. If you'll say yes to that, you'll mark yes to that, then we will contact you and say, okay, well, here they are. Choose one. Because we want to at least make sure that everybody has at least one. And so just please mark on the back of the Connect card, yes. And if you can't come because of COVID related, send us an email. We will be more than happy to connect you.
Yeah. Easy way to support missions. I think this is going to be great. So if someone wants to go and serve in Wyoming in 2021, how can they get involved?
This coming Sunday, the back of the Connect card will say, I want to go to be a part of a Wyoming mission trip in 2021. You would just mark that. Once again, we're going to be able to get the Cody dates as soon as possible. And we already have the dates for Evanston. I think that those dates are August 26th through September 3rd are those dates. And we'll have within the next couple of weeks the other dates. We're working on that with the Cody Cowboy Church. And so that's sort of the plan. And so mark on the back, and then we go through an interview process with everyone. I think it's important for people to know that when you go on mission trip, you need to be able to share the gospel. We are going to, in an interview, ask you to share the gospel with us in the interview.
And we don't want people to be caught off guard by that. That's standard for us.
That is standard for us. We do that in every interview. And so literally, we're not trying to hide this. I will be the token lost person in the room. And I will say, I am lost. Would you please tell me how to be saved? I want to know. That's me trying to put this opportunity to share the gospel on a silver platter. And then we want you to just show us that you know how to share the gospel. What is the gospel? That's what's going to happen in that interview, just so that you know.
And we generally don't say no to people. What we say to people is, we'll send you next time if you work on this, and we'll tell you what you need to work on. People need to know that we have said next time to a bunch of people.
That's right.
And it's not uncommon. Be ready.
That's right.
Which we should be ready anyway, biblically, right?
That's right. That's right. This is also why we have gospel seminars. I mean, part of why we have a gospel seminar is to learn how to share the gospel. If it's been a while since you've shared the gospel, a gospel seminar would be a great thing to go to. And I know y'all can't see me on this podcast, but I'm trying to wink right now. Okay. Even people who are experienced at sharing the gospel should go to a gospel seminar to be reminded, here are the basics of sharing the gospel. There's a reason why we do this.
Yeah, and most people that come out of this mission trip experience, we make sure that they're good at sharing the gospel before they go, but they're even better on the other side, too.
That's right.
It's almost like priming the pump or oiling something in the machine that you're out there flexing your muscles and working, and so you're going to get better at the gospel by going on one of these trips.
That's right. Practice does improve what we do. When you go and you do it, you're going to get better at it.
Yeah. And, we get some people that are just on fire for Jesus after these things. So
that's right.
It's a great experience. All right, Bobby, well, thank you for joining us today. And let me just say for the record as well, La Montaña is still the best restaurant in the Americas.
You will not get better food in Wyoming.
You will not. I'm sorry. The Beast Feast is going to be awesome, but La Montaña, that's where it's at. 5-star review. We'll go again. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Northwoods Church Matters podcast. If you'd like to find out more about Northwoods Church, you can visit us at our website, www.northwoodschurch.org. Again, that's www.northwoodschurch.org.